Hey everyone, I want to put together a video for you all to try to make it as clear as possible what happened tonight at the board meeting with the vote to increase the tax rate from 0.808 to 0.833. The numbers can be complicated. The numbers they're big numbers, they're complicated numbers, and so I want to put something together to try to make it as clear as possible how the numbers work and what the impact is to the decision that was made tonight. So the first place to start is what is called the tax roll certification that is provided by the PVA, the Property Valuation Administrator. So I'm going to share with you all two important documents that both can be downloaded from the PVA's website. This is the certification of equalized assessment. On this form, it has the total assessed value of all real estate in Lexington. And so the total assessed value, what I'll call the tax roll, in 2021 was $30.5 billion. That number increased in 2022 to $32.9 billion. And so it's this number that determines how much money Fayette County Public Schools collects from the taxpayers, from the property owners in Lexington. So I'm going to try to lay this out as clearly as I can in Excel to do the math, to show the work, to show how this works. So first, we're gonna lay out here what I'll call the tax roll. 2021 tax roll was $30,518,226,800. In 2022, that tax roll increased to $32,957,768,900. That was an increase of $2.4 billion, which was a percentage increase of 8%. So all property in Lexington in aggregate increased in value by $2.4 billion, or an 8% increase year over year. So how does that number drive how much money Fayette County Schools collect in taxes? So it's based on the tax rate, which we're all intimately familiar with now, with the option 1 and option 2. But I want to show you what the total collections were last year, based on what was the current rate and last year's tax roll. So the way you do this math is you take 0.808 and you multiply that by the tax roll divided by 100, and that's because the 808 number is the rate per $100. And so this would equal, this $246 million equals the total revenue collections by the school system in 2021. That is the tax roll, $30.5 billion multiplied by the 0.808 rate. And so before we go on, I want to show you a very important what is a very important piece of this puzzle, and that is what is called the compensating rate. The compensating rate is what the rate would need to be in order for the collections to remain the same with the increased property assessments. And so the way you do that is you take the 246 million and you divide it by the new assessment value divided by 100, and that gives a new compensating rate of 0.748. So the current rate was 0.808. The compensating rate would be 0.748. And to prove myself or to show my work, I'm gonna take this number, this compensating rate, and multiply it by the new assessed value. And you're going to see that these two numbers match: 246 million and 246 million. So based on last year's assessment value, the rate was 0.808. That generates $246 million. Based on what will be the compensating rate of 0.748, and the new assessed value, that would also be $246 million. So the compensating rate is a very critical number in all of this. So now I want to show you what the new total collections would be based on options 1 and option 2. So option 1 was 0.785. 0.785. So what would be the total collections? You say 0.785 times the new assessed value divided by 100, and that would be $258 million, which is an increase of $12.1 million. So I point that out because while they say that the rate was decreasing, the total collections would go up by $12.1 million on the option 1 rate. Okay, let's look at option 2 rate. Option 2 was 0.833. What's the total collections? You would say 0.833 times the new assessed value divided by 100, and that would be $274 million. And that would be an increase of $27.95 million. And just for the sake of thoroughness, I'm going to show you what the collections would be if the rate remained flat. Not the compensating rate, but the current rate. So that would be 0.808 times the new assessed value divided by 100. And so that would be 266. And that is a difference of $19.7 million. So if the board had chosen to keep the rate flat at 0.808, it would still have generated $19.7 million additional to what they collected last year. And so I think it's really critical to look at all 3 of these numbers because they presented it to us as if the rate was going down, but even with the rate going down, the collections would have increased by $12.1 million, and the new rate of 0.833 that they approved tonight, that the board voted to approve tonight, that will generate $27.9 million in addition, over and above what they collected last year. And so I want to make one final point to show my math, if you will, on what I presented as the 11.3% increase in the tax rate. So that is the difference between the new rate of 0.833 and the compensating rate of 0.748. So that would be 0.748. Sorry, not 0.748. 0.833 minus this number divided by this number. And that is a 11.3% increase. And so, turn this off here. So it's important for me to lay this out to you all because I like I said at the meeting tonight, I think that the way they presented this to us is disingenuous. They have not provided all of the critical information that they should have provided to us. The public deserves to know, the taxpayer deserves to know that the new rate is more than just 95 cents a week for the average taxpayer. It's more than $4.12 per month for the average, $4.12 increase to your mortgage bill every month for the average taxpayer. It's more than $50 a year for the average taxpayer. The new rate of 0.833 equals a $27.9 million increase to the total tax collections for Fayette County Public Schools. Now, there is a very important discussion to be had about how much money we need to upgrade facilities, to upgrade buildings, to build new buildings. But the district has not been honest with us in the way they presented this data between the option 1 rate and the option 2 rate. What we are looking at is in aggregate an 11.3% tax rate tax increase on the single largest portion of our property tax bill on an annual basis. And it's a $27.9 million increase in revenue dollars that the school district will be collecting from all taxpayers year over year. So I hope that cleared some things up, or hope that made some sense to you all. And these are very large numbers. The math can be complicated, and so I wanted to lay this out. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. I'd love to try to answer them for you. Thanks.